harder once we continue to use a long outdated system that produces war, poverty, collusion, corruption, ruins our environment and threatens every aspect of our health and does nothing but divide and segregate us.
So I got this album during the same time I got the Mind Sweep, which is their newest album that came out this year. Initially I thought the Mind Sweep was going to be better than this album, but when I ended up listening to this album, I felt like it was the better of the two. All the tracks from start to finish I thought was great, but I found myself listening more so to the second half of this album. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the album, but I just kind of wanted to run through a lot of the tracks from this album. So with the first track, System, it kind of starts out with this symphony type of beat. Initially I thought it was going to be my favorite track from this album, but you also see kind of singing go to rapping within this song, and also I like the lyrics that were done within this track. Meltdown was track number 2. Meltdown, it was more so of a transition from track 1, and it kind of has like a dubstep breakdown within the track towards the beginning of it. Track 3, you kind of see more so of a grind beat, quicker pace rap within this song, and also I love the joking around that they did towards the end of this track. Search Party was track number 4. I thought it had a great intro and also great lyrics, so it had a great melody throughout the track as well.
I know that we've got to find something new, something new.
With track number 5, it starts out kind of heavy, and I didn't expect it to actually switch to the rapping within the track, but the breakdown kind of had more of a grime and garage type of beat, and overall was just kind of vibing from this track. Once it hit track number 6, this is when I really started taking note of this album. Track number 6 was Stalemate, and the vibe that I kind of get from it is more so of the Incubus and Brandon Boyd type of vibe. With Stalemate, with the way that the vocals are structured, it reminded me a lot of Brandon Boyd. Now, I'm not saying that they're ripping off Brandon Boyd or trying to steal the style or trying to be like Incubus, but that's kind of like the feel that you get when you listen to the first 30 seconds or so of the track. And also they kind of have a part where they're pounding on the congos during the breakdown, and that was also very reminiscent of Incubus.
My grip on reality, I can't simply agree that we are civilized, acting like the surface internet is a chessboard of lies that will generate stalemates.
Track number 7 is entitled Gandhi Mate Gandhi. At the beginning of this, you kind of see them go off on a rant, and I like the beat that was done during the beginning of it, and I kind of felt like this was going to be my favorite track from the album until it went to the second part of the beat. Now, usually I don't say this because I'm not really a big fan of interludes, but what I would have did is that first part that was in the first 30 seconds of the track, I would have took that part and made it into an interlude and then had it go into a separate track when it went to a different beat. I kind of felt like it was 2 separate tracks when I listened to it, and for me it kind of lost its vibe a little bit once it switched off into a different beat after the intro. Track number 8 is entitled Warm Smiles Do Not Make You Welcome Here. Hands down the best track from start to finish. I kind of felt like from the moment I heard this track, I knew I was going to be vibing from it. I don't know what their set list is like when they toured this album, since it was about 3 years ago, but if there is any song I could request, it would be that one to play live. I could see the whole crowd just kind of vibing from the song. Kind of doing vocals based off like a robot voice, and it's saying transformation in progress. And then they kind of had like a breakdown during that part, and also like a guitar jam, and I felt like that really made the track for me. But overall, I thought this was the best track from start to finish. If I was to recommend any track for you to listen to if you don't want to listen to the whole album, I would say check out this track. If you like it, definitely get the album. Track number 9 is entitled Pack of Thieves. Out of all the tracks from the second half of this album, it's probably the one I listened to the least. I did like the beat and the intro of it, but I just kind of felt like this is not one that I would play over and over again, and it's the one that I played the least from the second half of the album. Track number 10, Hello Tyrannosaurus Meet Tyrannicide. This was hands down my favorite track. As soon as I heard the track, it reminded me a lot of The Fall of Troy. Like, you kind of see this breakdown in the beginning, you kind of hear like the drums and also the guitar. As it goes past the breakdown and goes into the vocals, even the screaming reminded me a lot of The Fall of Troy. And again, I'm not saying that they're ripping off this band, but that's what it reminds me of. And I feel like when a lot of people listen to this track, that's what it will probably remind them of as well. But also on this track, I noticed that there's a lot of sound manipulation on the vocals, which I'm a huge fan of. And you see them say the lyrics, "Empires always fall." And during that part, they're kind of doing the sound manipulation on the vocals. And from that point, I was just kind of hyped with what was done from the track. It's definitely a track I would love to see live. I still don't know what their set list was like when they toured this album, so I'm not too sure if they ever played this song, or they probably played it a ton of times, but I haven't listened to them live and seen any type of live video, so it's one track that I would love to see live. Track number 11 is entitled Constellations. In this track, you kind of see light vocals, and also it's more of a softer sounding type of song. But overall, I thought it had great lyrics. And again, like track number 9, Pack of Thieves, out of all the tracks from the second half of this album, it's probably the one I listened to the least. But if you decide to get this album, as far as what to expect from the vocals, you'll see like a lot of different melodies and harmonies. You'll see a lot of transition from singing to rapping. And also you'll see a lot of great intros. As far as production, you will see a lot of grime influence, a lot of dubstep, and also a lot of garage influence as well. I'm pretty sure they're from England. If you're a fan of a lot of different England bands, you'll probably like this one. They have a lot of different styles, and it ranges from The Fall of Troy to Incubus. But if you got the album, feel free to share your thoughts. What was your favorite track? If you had the least favorite, feel free to share that as well. And if you don't have the album, go ahead and pick it up. But until next time, this has been Jacob Rob AJ, and I'll see you.